So I want to just jump right into this. Envy. Are you dealing with a situation where someone is envious of you? Because we talk about this subject of depression. Are you depressed? Are you feeling sad? Are you feeling like you don't have people you can talk to? What is going on in your own personal life? So we want to look at envy from both sides, because sometimes you may feel that somebody is envious of you. But are there times that we are also envious of others and not aware of it? We've talked about this before. Maybe back in the day, you would have a situation where people, they would know that there were royalty, there were rich people, but they didn't know exactly what their homes looked like. They didn't know exactly, the porcelain in their bathrooms and the architecture in their high ceiling living rooms. And they didn't have all of those details. So sometimes I think being able to see somebody else's life close up can be a challenge for people. But sometimes that envy has an element of ignorance to it, because one can be envying a life that they don't really understand the full life. They don't really understand the full extent of it. Now, I'm not saying that you wouldn't want others to be happy, regardless of whether you're experiencing happiness in your own life or whatever is happening in your own life. But when you look at somebody else's life and you're just seeing the idealized version, it can be very discouraging, because we have a thing often today in modern day where people do seem to get these great advantages and seem to be having these amazing experiences. And sometimes when you go into how they got there, you find out that their start was really very questionable. Did it involve substances that should not be used? Did it involve already a connection that they had, so they were just getting an advantage? There's been talk about nepotism, nepo babies. And this is not to criticize nepo babies. This is not to put down people who have connections, because you want people to be in whatever positive position they can be. But whether it's a substance that should not be circulated. I hope you guys know what I'm talking about when I say that. Number one. Number two, a connection that they already had. Some who was already able to put them on because of a connection that they already had. Or number three, maybe somebody doing something with their selves, with their body, that would not meet up to your standard. So sometimes you may be envying people, but they're doing things that you would never do. If someone said, oh, you can have $1 billion, but you have to do, and that it doesn't meet up to your standard. So why would you envy somebody who's doing things that you would never do in the first place? That would be objectionable to you. And that deep down, whatever quote unquote reward you would get, it wouldn't be worth it to you. So it is so important. And I want to say hi to 4Dubs. 4Dubs, hi. Thank you for saying hello in the chat. So good to hear from you. Hello. So it is so important. 4Dubs, very, very much appreciate you. Thank you. So it is so important to remember that when you really think about envy, when you really think about envying somebody's life, think about how they got their start. Because that is a big thing today. Thank you for the hearts, you guys. Thank you for dubs. That is a big thing today that people say, oh, well, you have this advantage. Well, then anyone could do it, right? If they had that advantage, if they grew up where you grew up. And much of the point is, how did you get your start? That is not a small thing. Because whatever values you have, what you decided to do or not to do to get your start. Someone who you might admire too, like Denzel Washington, said that I think the advice that he received was, I think from Poitier, from the famed and venerated actor Poitier, Sidney Poitier, I believe, said that it wasn't about what you say yes to, it's about what you say no to. So when people say, oh, yes, well, I got here, but it's just that one thing that they did to come up, that's a big part of it. What did you refuse to do when you were coming up? It's not just to be rich and famous at all costs or whatever, just doing whatever to get there. There are millions of people who are saying basically they will not do those things. They would rather go hungry than do something that is objectionable to them personally. So it really does matter. Oh, thank you, Four Dubs. Four Dubs says, woohoo, keep it going, girl. You're doing good. Thank you. It really does matter how you get your start. And, even with the comment that Four Dubs just made, no matter the state of mind of Four Dubs is trying to put out something positive. Four Dubs wants positive things for other people. That's another thing. Sometimes people are envying those who don't want to see others succeed. We need to be more like people like Four Dubs. No matter where you are or what you're going through, you want to see others succeed. And that's something that is going to bolster you. That is something that's going to have a positive effect on you. We need more people like Four Dubs. And you need to understand, yes, Four Dubs says yes. You need to understand that how you get there is important. It's not a side conversation. It's not a small thing. How did you get up out there? What were you willing to do? And that is going to have an impact on the joy that you have in your life. Because if you know that you stepped on other people or you were unkind to other people or you did something with your body that doesn't rise to your standard, or there are so many things, or you dealt with substances that you shouldn't be dealing with in order to get into those positions. There's going to be that thing in the back of your head. Now, it's not to say we're all a work in progress. So it's not to say that you are not a person of beauty and value, but you have to acknowledge that something that you did or that you wouldn't want to do it again, that it's not something that lines up with who you are. Because if you continue on that premise of you'll go out and get whatever, it doesn't matter how you go about getting it, there's going to be a sadness that lingers, that goes with that you don't want to have. So it is very important. How did you get what you got? And do not go and look at people in the public eye and envy them, because there's always another part to the story. If they worked really hard to get what they got, then you have to understand Are you willing to do the things that they did? If they worked well, did the right thing, went about it the right way, are you willing? Maybe sometimes there were times they wanted to spend time with their family, but they couldn't. There were times when they wanted to have a bowl of food, but they couldn't afford it because they had decided, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this the right way. And even if I can't feed myself for a period of time or feed myself the way I'd like to, I'm going to stick to it and keep going. Were there times where they had to travel and they were away from people that they cared about? Were there times where there were people in their life that didn't accept the fact that they were on this journey and didn't want to speak to them? Maybe they decided to go in such a way that the other person thought they couldn't. And so they didn't have some of those relationships around them. All of these things are very difficult. So when you see somebody who's doing so well, if they went through all of this, you should want them to enjoy it because it was very hard. And in some cases, while you were eating a magnificent spread of food and while you were going out and prancing with your friends and while you were they might have been in isolation. They might have been at a point where they felt they didn't have people to talk to. They might have been, hungry. So when they get there, you should cheer them on. And the other side too, if they did it in such a way that that is not right, then there's a lingering sadness that goes with it. I love 4Dubs right now says, I had a bully back in first grade, and I'm like, nope, I'm just walking away. I'm not listening to anything. I'm staying positive. And we need things like that. We need more people like 4Dubs that even if you have a difficult time, you want good things for others. So I'm going to close this up today. And again, when you come to our lives, know that these lives are for people who, if you're not in the public eye, it's often for people who are venturing in the public eye, and you want to be healthy when you get out there. Or it's for people who want a certain level of success, and success can look different for different people. But you want to be healthy and balanced because you're doing something that's unusual. So when you come to these lives, yes, we have wonderful celebrities that follow us. Sometimes you don't see all the big numbers. Why? It's a select group of people that are drawn to model poetry and what we're doing. So when you come, you just relax. You just sit back. You listen to the live. You can listen to it over and over again. You don't have to feel pressured. You don't have to be in that space of what is everybody else doing? What pictures are they taking? What are they traveling to? It's a space where you can sit down and relax. And again, I want to read one more time what 4Dubs just said. I had a bully back in first grade, and I'm like, nope, I'm just walking away. I'm not listening to anything. I'm staying positive. This is so important. So as I close out today's live, you guys, remember, don't sit around envying those who you think, maybe they are a bully and you think, oh, they've got it all, this and that. They don't have it. When they're harming other people, when they can't be happy for other people. And don't envy other people. You don't know the full story. What you have is beautiful for you. Thank you, guys. I love you so much. 4Dubs, thank you for your comment. I love you too. You guys are amazing, wonderful. Thank you for the coming to the lives. Please like this one. It always helps. And thank you so much. Go to modelpoetry.com. We have new things up. We have new people there. And sometimes we talk about our followers. So go to modelpoetry.com. You guys are amazing. Stay amazing. Stay beautiful. Stay excited. Stay encouraged. I love you guys too. I love you so much. Thank you for the sub, 4Dubs. Thank you for all of the encouragement, everyone. I love you so much, and we'll see you next time.